Are you sound people happy? Okay. Well, why don't we start, presumably slowly.
Growing up, I was always taught that working hard and having a plan led to success. From an early age, I was also instilled with the values of getting a good education. A good education would lead to a good job, which would in turn lead to a nice house. The end result of this was success. Success, as it was implied, was happiness. And if the end result of planning for a 40-year career, home ownership, and saving for retirement in high school was success, the immediate result was stress and anxiety. As a teenager and in my early 20s, I was so consumed with the future that I struggled to enjoy the present. In response to the pressures of a complex world, I responded with simplicity. More money led to more things, which led to more stressors. I wanted to live somewhere with a lower cost of living, a slower pace of life, surrounded by nature. And for me, the answer was obvious. Vancouver Island, surrounded by towering mountains, lush forest, and stunning ocean. And so, for the last 6 years, I've enjoyed camping, hiking, surfing, and exploring, drinking morning coffees in the rainforest, and sunset beers by the campfire. Living on Vancouver Island was like being in heaven on earth. So it turns out I may have been a little naive on the importance of money in one of the most expensive parts of the world. But at least it's a good segue. We were moving again. Oh. As it turns out, the forgiving climate, beautiful landscape, slow pace of living, and affordable lifestyle that drew people west for superior quality of life generations ago was long gone. Beachside bungalows were replaced by oceanside mansions, VW vans replaced by six-figure sprinters, and kitsch coastal art replaced by, well, that's still here. It's a place we could no longer afford. Not unless, like Harry from Dumb and Dumber said, you wanted to work 40 hours a week. Despite the cost of living, we were determined to try and make it work. We wanted to live in a beautiful part of the world, close to family and friends. And then COVID hit. My wife lost her job, and the new business I was set to launch was paused opening week due to COVID restrictions. The neighbor across the hall in our new apartment had his door kicked down by the police twice. We tried our best to adapt. In a last-ditch effort to stay out west, we both found new jobs and moved to a smaller town that was more affordable. When we arrived, only to find the job we'd come for not as promised, we struggled to make it work. House prices doubled, cost of living went parabolic, and the quality of life we hoped for dropped. I was unsettled, feeling like I was trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It was a time of soul-searching and introspection, where I found solace in a quote from one of the greatest philosophers of our time.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
With that nugget of wisdom came a sense of closure. we knew what we had to do. We'd sat around, like any good millennial did, and blamed boomers for our problems. And while it felt good, it didn't lead to any change. So when that didn't work as we'd hoped, we knew we needed something more drastic: personal accountability. So what do you do when the carefully laid out plans you've worked towards your entire life no longer seem viable? You fight it, or you accept it and go back to the drawing board. When the definitions of success and happiness, which were defined for me, were no longer viable options, I struggled to find the purpose in life. What was I working towards? After spending time in contemplation, going to therapy, and even stooping to the depths of Google and Reddit, the best I could come up with is that there is no inherent meaning to life. It is up to us to find value, meaning, and purpose. And that was both scary and liberating. After years of daydreaming and humming and hawing, we decided we wanted to be the authors of our own happiness. Paralysis by analysis no more. It was time for action. I've had a lifelong habit of equating a lack of immediate success as failure, and equating failure with lack of effort, talent, or skill. But this time, I'm reframing it. At a different stage of life, I would have looked at my time on the island as an abject failure. But now, I'm looking at it as an opportunity. Sometimes things need to go so badly that you're desperate enough to let go of expectations and do what really makes you happy. Years of struggling to fulfill someone else's definition of success left me with nothing but anxiety and stress-induced acid reflux. That was the catalyst for change, letting go of other people's expectations and doing what we truly want. After nearly a decade of inaction, I've finally decided to act on my half-baked creative dream of making videos with a cartoon turtle. I'm not sure how it will go. I don't have all the answers, and I finally feel okay with that. All I know is that I no longer want to spend my series of todays worrying about the unsolvable problems of tomorrow. After all, life is not a problem to be solved, but an experience to be had. As Bob Ross says, we don't make mistakes, just happy accidents. And as my wife likes to remind me, hurry, hurry has no blessings. Welcome to Slowpokes, and stay tuned.